Okay, so I'm having this realization after this morning's video about the fear of abandonment. The fear of abandonment is I think it's like a core wound. It's a wound that we have when we're born, that we get when we're born, that we have this fear of abandonment. And because we have a fear of abandonment, we end up abandoning. We end up abandoning the one that we are afraid of being abandoned by, and we end up abandoning ourselves as well. We don't allow ourselves to fully surrender into pure love because we're afraid of what we're going to lose. We're afraid that we will be so vulnerable that we will be abandoned and then we don't know what to do. And I realized this in this video that I did this morning when I was completely in ego. And when I was posting it, I realized that that's what it was. It was the fear of abandonment. So it's the fear of being replaced or being obsolete. So in my friendship with my twin and him yesterday, what he said to me about that what he doesn't like in the friendship is that the feeling that I always want more is that, like, when we are friends, he forgets that I have those other feelings for him, which I don't really believe him that he forgets it. I don't think that he forgets it. I think maybe he gets into the now and I don't know whatever, dude. But I realized while I was talking it through this morning is that there is a fear of being left. And what is that? It's the fear of being abandoned. It's the fear that if I'm not holding on, it's like not letting go and not letting love in. It's feeling like I have to hold on or grasp onto him or like force. It's a way of force. And that if I don't hold on and grasp and make things go in a certain way, in a way that I expect them to go, then I'm going to be left behind. And then it's not being an allowance. It's not allowing the relationship to do what it will naturally do or take the course that it's trying to manipulate. So I thought that was a really cool realization, to realize that it's like I'm getting to my core wounds. And now I feel like I'm going to cry and not because I'm sad or anything like that. It's just because I'm rolling posters. This is alphabet, but it's the ancient paleo alphabet. I sell on Amazon. I got my print back last week. So it's this feeling of I'm going to be abandoned, so I'm not going to put my full self into this. It means I'm not going to surrender all the way into this friendship or let my guard down, which in itself is holding myself back and holding back what I have to give or what I feel naturally to give in a relationship or in the relationship or any relationship, because of fear that I'm going to get hurt. So I'm not going to put in all of my effort. My effort is going to be lost. And that's actually what I said in this morning's video, that it's like a waste of effort. I do feel like there are places that there is a waste of effort where, like, if you're putting into something that isn't, when you continuously put into a place that is where you're not appreciated in, or where your efforts are in vain, then you're giving away your life power. And I do believe in that. I do believe that everybody has their own work to do, and you can't do anybody's work for them, and that really you can't take people on your own back. You have your own self. You can offer, but you really have to choose where you put your life's energy, because you can put your life's energy into something that is not a recipient for it, and then it really you're just wasting this life effort. Um, and that's something that in myself I need to look at. Also not making my happiness dependent on anyone else. I mean, what kind of price is that in it for somebody? I mean, who wants to be around that? I don't want somebody else's happiness to be dependent on me as well. I don't want to be in a relationship that I feel like is sucking me, or that I'm responsible in any way for the other person to be whole. That is not a relationship that I am, what's the word? It's like being held hostage in a relationship. Or like if I'm not constantly producing whatever the happiness powder that the other person needs, then um, then it's they're not there by will. They're there for an egotistical, like, what's the word? Like they're there for an agenda, and not there as a true friend or as a partner. Even in a friendship, it's a partnership in the friendship. And I can understand what he's saying. If he's in a friendship and he's constantly feeling like I'm trying to get more, or I'm holding back because of my own feelings or my own agendas, then what kind of friendship is that? It's not a good friendship, right? So that was my realization. So it looks like on this spiritual journey, I'm getting into the depths of the depths, to the bottom of the pit, to the core of the cores, which is fear of abandonment. And that is something that we get when we're born. Like, we're abandoned because we come into this physical body, and we get this ego tool to play with, which makes us feel like we're separate from everything, that we're our own entity, and we're these tiny little child babies that are completely dependent on for our lives, and we have no control over anything. And that's the first thing that when we come into the world, that is the first thing that we experience. It's enough that we're left to cry and we have a want and it's not taken care of, then we already feel abandonment, which is, it's just nature of things. That's our core wound just from this human experience. So even with the best parents, there has to be some kind of balance in between. Also in between not having all of our needs met, because if we have all of our needs met and we're not left to cry ever, then we could become totally codependent, like dependent on others for all of our needs. We don't know how to sit in pain. So there is part of that is needed in order to expand on this, in order to be able to reach out and achieve things on our own as well. We have to have that abandonment, wound, so that we can, know how to sit in absence of, so that we can go and reach out on our own to make things happen on our own. But it has to be in some kind of balance, not to where I'm the only one that makes things happen, and also not to where I completely give up because I'm powerless. And there's a balance in everything. So I like these realizations. I like going through my core wounds. So I'm realizing that I also have this core wound of abandonment. And I'm realizing that by nature, we all do. We all have a core wound of the feeling of being abandoned by God, by all, by, we're our spirits, our souls are of everything. And we come into this world feeling completely helpless and alone and separate from, and having our own individual experience of life. So it's a pretty cool realization. I think that I'm still working myself around it. I'm still kind of understanding it, and I'm still feeling like a tinge of pain. And I'm glad that I did that video this morning with all the weakness, so that I could have this realization now. Everything builds on everything. You can't get ahead of, sometimes you have quantum leaps. Sometimes you're dealt cards that just, your expansion is immediate and absolute and huge. And sometimes, one building block is built on top of another, and you just have to go through the pain and talk it out and realize what it is. I'm glad I'm doing these videos. I think that these videos are really helping me to expand in my own journey. So if nothing else, there's that. And so, in any case, I'm going tomorrow to Jerusalem. I'm going to stay a couple of days there. I think I'm going to take my computer. I'm going to work on my book. I said this week, that's it. This book is getting out this week. Whether I have the drawings ready, whether I don't, I already know that I have one drawing that I want to put into that book. I'm going to go over the drawings that I already have. There's one that is just super suits the book. And I'm wondering what I should do for the cover of the book. I think that the name of the book, unless something else hits me, but this has been its name for a long time, is Inside the Mind of an Alcoholic. I want to add in there because it's really for any addictions, or it could be like the addictive mind. I don't know, something like that. If you guys have any suggestions, I'm open to hear suggestions. I'm not promising to take any suggestions, but I could take them and build on them. But I'm really open to hearing what you think about it. So this week, that is going to happen. And I realize that a lot of times when you just do something, then it opens up the floodgates. Like if I'm procrastinating around my first book, procrastinating, I know that once I do it and I see how simple it is to do, then I'm going to be like, oh, that's all it was? And then maybe I'll just continue putting out books, especially with AI now. You have AI that can really help you, and that editor that I found, that she's wonderful. And she's quick. I sent it to her and it was like, tick, 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 tick. She got me on the ball. So I want to finish that foreword that I'm writing, or introduction, or whatever it is, and also dedication, and then that's it. I'm going to put it out, and I'm going to call it a booklet. That's a booklet. Okay, well, thank you for being with me. This is a good realization, the abandonment, and I'm so happy and privileged that I realized that because that is a core wound. That is getting to the very core things. I feel like it's just resonated with me. Like I just realized this, and that's what it is. I still don't know how it applies to my life. I'm still wrapping my head around it. And I don't know how it applies to my other relationships yet. It's just like now it just feels like it was very topical, a very topical realization, but a big realization. It's like a life changer. So it's a life changer, and I guess I really don't feel like it all the way sunk in yet. It's just, I realized it, a lot of it while I was talking, but also from this morning. Okay. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it.